Stay strong, you never go weak. We ain't no slaves, man. We gotta wake up.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Turn that down if you could. This is the Hebrew chosen elect out of Wilmington, Delaware, Shabbat service. This week we'll be picking back up in the book of Genesis, chapter 46, for our Sabbath reading. Before we get started, however, let's go to the announcements. Got to turn it off.
That's how it always been.
No, it's never that loud. So yeah, starting with our announcements, upcoming high holy days and new moons. We just had the Feast of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Hope everybody's feast went well. I hope everybody's week went well. And everybody's maintaining the spirit in this wicked kingdom. Upcoming high holy day or new moon, next new moon, April 29th, which is this week. 3 days from now. That's what, Tuesday? So April 29th, this Tuesday will be our next new moon. After that, upcoming feast days. First fruits, June 7th, 2025 at sundown. Then after that, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement. Those are September, October. Feast of Tabernacles, October 7th. So this June 7th, Feast of First Fruits. Look forward to information where we'll be having the feast, location, all those things. Also, we got the upcoming Hamashah Yasha'Allah Hebrew Summit in Atlanta, Georgia, held June 26th to the 29th. Everybody get your, as I always say every week, start planning. If you're going to the summit in Atlanta, start putting your money aside. I'm not even sharing my screen. Start putting your money aside for the summit in Atlanta, Georgia. June 26th. To the 29th. 26th being the meet and greet. The meet and greet will be the 26th. And the 27th will be the camp speaking. The 28th, the Saturday, will be the actual summit, and the 29th will be the family barbecue. So if you're able to make it out, we look forward to seeing you there. If you can make it out for the whole thing, start planning, get your Airbnbs, your hotels. If you can only make it for 1 or 2 days, then come down and make it out for that. But if you're able and willing, start planning and make your way to the Atlanta, Georgia, Hamashah 22nd Hebrew Summit. Also, contact information. You can contact us on Facebook. You can contact me at We Are Israel Gemaria Yasha'Allah. You can contact Yakanan at Brandon Daniels, Yakanan Maccabee Yasha'Allah, both on Facebook. Also, if you're not part of our Facebook group, please go ahead and join the group, The Rise of the Chosen, on Facebook. Also, We have our YouTube channels. Please like, share, and subscribe to ACE Red Pill Reality and ACE Reloaded for content and edification classes, camp videos, breakdowns, and such the like. So that's it for announcements. So we'll go ahead and get started with the reading today. Picking back up Genesis chapter 46. From the top. I already had it pulled up, but I guess I gotta pull it up again. Something. I had this pulled up already too. All right, what's that? So, Genesis chapter 46, verse 1. And you can read that when you're ready out.
The book of Genesis, chapter 46, verse 1. And Israel took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices unto Yahweh of his father Isaac. And Yahweh spake unto Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am Yahweh, the power of your father.
And real quick, just a quick recap. Where we're picking back up from, I don't, if everybody remembers, chapter 45 is when Jacob becomes aware that Joseph is in fact alive, that he's thought to be dead all this time, but the sons come back up from Egypt, finding out that Joseph is in fact alive. Okay? So that's where we're picking back up. Go ahead, keep going.
And he said, Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again. And Joseph put his hand upon thine eyes, and Jacob rose up from Beersheba. And the sons of Israel carried Jacob, their father, and their little ones, and their wives in the wagons, which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. And they took their cattle and their goods, which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him, his sons and his sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought he with him into Egypt. And these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt: Jacob, his sons, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok, and Phalu, and Hezron, and Carmi, and the sons of Simeon, Jemuel, and Jamin, and Ohad, and Jachin, and Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanitish woman, and the sons of Levi, Gershon, and Kohath, and Merari, and the sons of Judah, and Onan, and Shelah, and Pharez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Pharez were Hezron and Hemuel. And the sons of Issachar, Tola, and Phula, and Job, and Shimron. And the sons of Zebulun, Sarad, and Elon, and Jaleel. These be the sons of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob in Padaram. with the daughter Dinah. All the souls of his sons and daughters were 33. And the sons of Gad, Ziphion, and Haggi, and Shuni, and Esbon, and Eri, and Erodi, and Ereli. And the sons of Asher, Jimnah, and Ishua, and Isui, and Beriah, and Sarah, their sister, and the sons of Beriah, Eber, and Malchiel. There are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah, his daughter, and these she bare unto Jacob, even 16 souls. These sons of Rachel, Jacob's wives, Joseph and Benjamin. And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bare unto him. And the sons of Benjamin were Bela and Becher, and Ashbel, Gera, and Naaman, Ehi, and Rosh, Muppim, and Huppim, and Ard. These are the sons of Rachel, which were born to Jacob. All the souls were 14. And the sons of Dan, Hushim. And the sons of Naphtali, Jazeel, and Guni, and Jezer, and Shalom. These are the sons of Bilhah, which Laban gave unto Rachel, his daughter, and she bare these unto Jacob. All the souls were 7. All the souls that came with Jacob into Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, all the sons were 66. And the sons of Joseph, which were born him in Egypt, were 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Egypt, were 70. And sent Judah before him unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen. And they came into the land of Goshen, and Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet Israel his father to Goshen, and presented himself unto him, and he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive. And Joseph said unto his brethren and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, my brethren, my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me, and the men are shepherds, for their trade have been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they had.
Okay, I pause right there. Pause right there. So this isn't just in the time of Joseph. This isn't just in this time going into Egypt, him letting it be known to Pharaoh that my brethren, we're shepherds, right? This is something that Israel as a whole in the spirit was put on earth to be in the earth, and that's what? Shepherds. All the men of Israel are to be shepherds. The Most High put us here to be shepherds. And what's a shepherd? Let's start with the definition of a shepherd. And the definition of a shepherd is a person who tends and rears sheep. 10 sheep as a shepherd, and then the last one, most important for the spiritual side of what's being brought out in the scriptures, a guide, or shepherd means to guide or direct in a particular direction, right? And Israel was put on earth to guide what? To guide and direct the nations under the law of the Most High, right? The Most High, he gave us the laws, statutes, and commandments, and no one else. And we read in the scriptures that in the last days, all people will come to the Mount of Israel to learn the law. That's that light. That light to the nations, speaking of everybody that's not Israel, is that light is a government. That light is a ruling body. to govern and keep the earth in line, because without Israel, the earth is just a wicked place filled with idolatries and all types of uncleanness, profanation, fornication, wrath, malice, blasphemies, all the works of the flesh. That's what all the heathen nations are all about. That's what the kingdom is about. It's all about what pleases your flesh and what feels good, and none of it's about what the Most High wants and requires out of mankind, right? So Israel is those shepherds, but it's not just in terms of ruling the nations as a governing body and being in dominion on the earth. You're also a shepherd amongst the nation itself. You're a shepherd amongst your people. You're a shepherd amongst your houses. You're shepherds amongst your camps or schools. That's what the men of Israel were put here to be. If you're a man and you're an Israelite, you have a responsibility and a requirement to put on the works of a shepherd and to take on that role and to take on that labor.
And that even passed down from Adam, because Adam's responsibility was to till the earth, and it was his responsibility to physically till the earth, but he was there to till the earth, meaning to put the earth in order. You know what I mean? Through what he was given, the breath and the life, the knowledge and the breath of life from the Most High. So he was given that to put everything in order. So that passed down through his loins and his direct descendants, leading on down to Jacob. So that's our job, to put things back in order.
Mm-hmm. So more on the point, we're going to go into the book of John, chapter 21, verse 15 to 17, going in on the point of us men of Israel we are put here. The Most High sent us on this earth to be shepherds, and also Yahweh Shai, being that chief shepherd, he also instructed us, his disciples, his apostles, his followers, to be shepherds of the sheep as well. Mm-hmm. So 21 verse 15 to 17. Try that off. Do me a favor, take that. You could grab the paper towels if you could.
The book of John, chapter 21, 15 through 17. So when they had denied, Yahweh Shai said,
when they denied, you said denied. When they dined, they was
Salakia. When they had dined, Yahweh Shai said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Adawan, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my lambs.
He said what?
Feed my lambs.
So a shepherd's job is to one of the shepherd's job is to what?
Feed thy lambs.
It's to feed the lambs. And Yahweh's sheep, the flock of his pasture, is who? Israel. Israel is the sheep. So Yahweh Shai told Peter, if you love me, to feed my lambs. That being the children of Israel. And in the physical sense, the shepherd's job is to tend to the sheep, to make sure that they're well fed, to make sure they're watered, to make sure that they're safe from the dangers of the wolves and lions and all the predators out there looking to make a lunch out of the sheep. It's the shepherd's job to tend to those sheep, to feed them, give them water, to protect them, right? And what do we with the Most High with Yahushua? What's the bread, the food that you're feeding the sheep, and the water that you're giving to the sheep? The commandments, the laws, the word, the wisdom, the understanding. So, as shepherds, we're supposed to take on this duty to feed the sheep, to teach, to bring the word, to build up, bringing our people back to the laws, statutes, commandments, or even if it's a brother that already knows or a sister that already knows, if they're falling off, to lift them back up, to reprove them, bring them back in the right path. That's the job of a shepherd. Verse 16, go ahead.
Verse 16, he saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Adawan, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Adawan, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua saith unto him, Feed my sheep.
From there, let's go 1 Peter 5, verse 1 to 11. But yeah, so it's important that the shepherds were feeding the flock. So with that being said, that means that the Most High is not looking for individualites, right? He can't use you if you're sitting at home by yourself, maybe getting on Facebook every once in a while, getting on YouTube, but you're not congregating with anybody. You're not ever around anybody. You don't want any part of the camps. The camps are off. The schools are off. Everybody's off except for you. Everybody's off except for you, sitting in your little bubble. And all you do to get teach is to get online and bash camps or bash schools or bash other people's understanding, and to bring in all types of new doctrines. And nobody has the right pronunciation of the Hebrew, but you got it. Now it's Yahoo, not Yahweh, it's Yahoo. It's not Yahweh Shai, it's Yahusha. All types of madness that people put together in the sanctity of their homes alone, being an individual, and not even feeding anybody. Hopping on Clubhouse, hopping on other established rooms to get on Clubhouse and debate and argue. That's not what the Most High is looking for. He's looking for shepherds. To be a shepherd, you have to be around the flock. First Peter.
Yeah, I'm there.
5:1.
The book, 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 1. The elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Hamashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof.
Taking the oversight. And what's the definition of oversight? The definition of oversight is a watchful and responsible care. So as a man of Israel, it's your job to take the oversight of the flock. That means a responsible care. You have to care for the flock. It can't just be all about yourself. It can't be all about what feels good to you, what benefits you. I have to take the responsible care of the flock.
Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre.
Well, it also has to be of a willing mind. You can't do a good job of being a shepherd if you don't want to be doing the service. No shepherd, no, you can't be a good shepherd out in the physical real world tending to sheep if you don't want to be there. Because what's going to happen? You're gonna be doing other things. You're gonna give your mind to other things. You're not gonna pay attention to the flock. They're gonna go without food. They're gonna go without water. You're gonna be falling asleep on the job. The wolves come in and devour the flock because you was there without it. You didn't want to be there. This is a job where it has to be of a willing mind, and not for filthy lucre, right? It can't be about the money. This job as an Israelite, as a priest, as a teacher, as a shepherd, can't be about the money. You read in Exodus chapter 18 that Moses was told to pick out men of good reputation, not given to covetousness and greedy of money, right? This is the requirements of a good shepherd. Go ahead.
Feed the flock of Yahweh, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over Yahweh's heritage.
Right, there's no number 3 under Yahweh. Right? Or in the Catholic, there's no vicar. Right? There's no replacement for Yahweh. Yahweh doesn't need a replacement. He died, but he rose again, so he's not even dead no more. Yahweh is alive and kicking and able to judge without a replacement, without a vicar, without a third under him, without a what's it called when you have somebody else sign contracts for you? No, when you have them sign them for you, it's like a replacement. It starts with a P.
Power of attorney.
Power of attorney. I think that's it. I think there's another one, but the Yahweh don't need that, right? So nobody is Lord over the Most High's heritage, right? So you can't say you're not an Israelite if you're not a part of my camp, right? You can't the Most High ain't bringing anybody in this service to be a dictator, a lord over the flock, right? You're here to be a shepherd. You're here to be a watchman. You're here to look over. You're here to teach. You're here to edify.
You're here to show how it's done.
You're here to show how it's done. And that's what it goes into next. Go ahead. Being
ensamples to the flock.
Yeah, so you're a shepherd, not by being a lord over the heritage, but being an example. That's what ensemble means. An example to the flock. So real Israelite men, they lead by example. John 1:45-47.
The book of John, chapter 1:45-47. Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him of whom Moshe in the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Yahusah. And Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip said unto him, come and see. Yahushua saw Nathanael coming to him and said of him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile.
Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. So what does Israelite indeed mean? This is a real Israelite, not just by blood. It says indeed. In the way he carries himself, he is a true Israelite. That's why it says in whom is found no guile. What is guile? Foolishness. And what else? Trickery. That's a good one. Because when you go into the Greek word is translated to guile, is dolos, which means craft, deceit, guile. So like you said, trickery. There's no trickery. There's no living in craft. You're living in the truth. And what's the truth? According to the laws of the Most High God. So a real Israelite, it keeps the laws of the Most High. A real Israelite thinks upon the commandments. A real Israelite isn't out here teaching that spiritual Israel is the church. and to be this spiritual Israel, you just say you believe in Jesus. That could never be true because of real Israelite, there's no guile. So how can the non-Israelites or the Christian church replace Israel just by saying they believe on Christ, but they don't keep the commandments? and they live in craft, they live in deceit, they live in guile. That alone already excludes you from being a spiritual Israelite, because if you're a spiritual Israelite, that means you're a true Israelite. You're walking in the Spirit, which means you're keeping the commandments, because in the Holy Spirit will flee deceit. So a true Israelite is an example. So these shepherds we're supposed to be is by being an example. That's when we're real Israelite men. Go ahead.
Salaki, just like when Eve said that the serpent beguiled me.
Right.
That's still God.
Mm-hmm. That was guiled by what?
Correct.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. And also she was, you talking about on her behalf?
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because you wasn't beguiled. You were rebellious. You was disobedient. But that craft, that guile, now you're bringing excuses to the table. Now you can't take accountability. Right. And that's an example you also have to be to. That's a part of being a shepherd, is being that example of taking accountability. That's a good point. That's guile. Making up excuses, that's guile.
Today, the prophets are beguiling the people.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the supposed prophets, right? The false prophets, the prosperity preachers, the TD Jakes, the Cleflos, and even some Israelites. We was talking about before class. Cats taking the bag. Cats don't got a job, but they got major figures. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the group.
Yeah.
Major figures. Gilly in the Philly group. Yeah, now you got Israelite camp leaders that got major figures with no job. Only people that I know that got major figures with no job is rappers, drug dealers,
mega church pastors,
the wicked, criminals, people who are living off of guile and deceit.
I have one too. Now you go ahead first.
Micah 3:10. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire.
They do what for reward?
Teach for hire.
And they judge for reward, right? If you judging for reward, what's that mean?
Your judgment is off.
Your judgment's off because you can be bought, right? You're judging in favor of who's benefited you the most.
And the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord Yahweh and say, is not Yahweh among us? None evil can come upon us.
That's what they saying in their prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh,
hey, you see how we doing? We got the most lavish car out here. Oh, we living out of the church house that the church didn't pay for. Most High making my cup run over. And really, Hashem making that cup run over. Yeah, that's what they doing. They well off and trying to say this is how you prosper. They trying to build that kingdom up and have what you call the social gospel. You know what I mean? That's being taught. It's not being taught that your kingdom is going to come after this. You know what I mean? And that this kingdom is going to fall. They try to teach that you're going to have your cake and eat it too right now. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen like that. That cake going to burn. I wanted to pull the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, start at verse 4. And then it reads, thus saith Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter. And that's our duty. Taking the ensample and the oversight, we supposed to feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. And that's what you see. Our own shepherds are not pitying us at all. We being led astray through Christianity and Islam. And we worried about getting that money off for the people. And we not being pitied. You just want to keep marching and doing all type of dumb stuff like that. Instead of telling you to go back to these law, statutes, and commandments, which is going to give you the kingdom.
Yeah.
And there you go. It says
Islam.
Salakia. It says that their own shepherds pity them not. Yeah, I mean that lets you know that we are a representation of the sheep right there too. We not being rightfully herded to which way we should go. We got a whole bunch of wide gates instead of going through the straight gate. We not being taught that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what I was about to say. Even with Islam, right? Islam, like one of the main things that they push is this, getting money. Islam is all about getting money. You change, you start to clean yourself up, and you invest in the community. That's what it's more about than serving the Most High. It's just like Africanism coming together, bringing our money together to make money, to advance our economy, right? And it's about that, and their belief is that Far Muhammad was God. Far Muhammad, how do you push the start the religion, the Nation of Islam? He was a door-to-door salesman. He was going around selling. He was going around. He looked like he presented himself well, like he had together, right? And he's coming to people who are down and out and trodden, right? And he's pushing this. What's up?
The video not showing.
They saw. Slovakia. Other people saw it. Somebody check Rise of the Chosen real quick, see if it's up. We can keep going.
I tried to get on now.
Okay.
Nah. Well, it's on YouTube. They're gonna have to go there for now. All right, let's keep going. Matthew 5:19.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 19. Whoso therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Mm-hmm. And that's important too, because like the Pharisees, they had the outward adorning of looking good and everything, but like Christ said, their insides was like dead men's bones. You know what I mean? Their outside was like white as sepulchres. You know what I mean? They looked clean, and they was telling people to keep the laws and stuff, but some of them was judging for filthy lucre. Some of them was righteousness, but it said that your righteousness must exceed them. You know what I mean? Because they wasn't all the way righteous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And it said, whosoever shall do these commandments and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom. Meaning what? Meaning you don't just teach by your words. You don't just teach by giving instructions verbally. You're teaching by how you carry yourself. You're teaching by your deeds. You might say that to put fringes on, but you never wear fringes, then I'm going to look at you and say, I don't need to wear fringes. I can wear them sometimes. If I don't feel like wearing them, you don't always wear them, so I ain't got to always wear them. So you teach by the instructions you give, but you also teach by the actions that you do. So Yahushua said, if your righteousness doesn't exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, you shall no case enter in the kingdom of God. And for the righteous, what he's talking about, Luke 12, 1-3, to show the what it meant that your righteousness has to exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees.
The book of Luke, chapter 12, 1-3. In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trod one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware of ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed.
So real quick. So the leaven of the Pharisees is hypocrisy, meaning they say to do something, but they won't do it themselves. And then it lets us know that also nothing, there is nothing covered that won't be revealed. Meaning what? If you're living this life as a hypocrite, but you're presenting yourself like you're a shepherd, you're presenting yourself to the public like you're some type of leader, and you're holding up a standard, and you're mighty in the word of the Most High. But really, when nobody's looking or in the sanctity of your own home, you're a whole demon. You're a whole hypocrite doing nothing that you teach. The Most High, He's gonna bring that out. He ain't gonna allow you to keep that covered.
We don't have to mention no names, but we see that happen.
We do, and actually we ain't gonna go too much into it, but we're gonna talk about it because that's something that we see today. And this wasn't even planned out. This is the reading. Joseph let Pharaoh know they're shepherds, but that meant more than just they're men that tend to animals and livestock. You read the whole scriptures and you get the understanding. The men of Israel were meant to be shepherds in their spiritual sense. Shepherds are
like that meant you're supposed to herald souls for the Most High. Yeah.
I'm trying to see if my profile is private or something. But anyway, so keep going with that. So nothing covered. There's nothing covered that will not be revealed.
For there's nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear and closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops.
Mm-hmm. And that's what? That's dealing with sin. That's dealing with your hypocrisy. And like Kalak, you just brought out, we see that today. And the most visual, we're not going to go in depth, but this picture says it all, right?
Oh, God.
You have a man who's supposed to be a shepherd. A man who's supposed to be a shepherd, and he's supposed to be tending to the flock of Israel, the sheep. But really, the whole time, he's secretly been a wolf putting on that garment. So you see the photo, got the garments, got the fringes, got the woman dressed modest for the most part.
Look how long them phylacteries is.
So you got the outer garment, it looks like a shepherd to the eye, but inside a ravening wolf. And for a long time, turn that down, please. For a long time, a lot of people were oblivious to the reality of the life that the brother's been living, right? And it's not just a life of committing sins, meaning breaking the laws of God. These are transgressions that go totally against the job of being a shepherd. That's probably the reason the Most High is putting it on the forefront so hard right now, because of the type of sins that this brother is committing in the darkness. Who's supposed to be your first flock? Those of your household, right? Those of your household. So if you're supposed to be a shepherd, you're not supposed to take the sheep in your house and give them to the known wolf. Give them to the servant of the devil's right-hand man, Esau himself. You don't take your women and give them to Esau. You don't take your women and make them commit adultery, even if it's with Israelites. It's your job to build up your house. It's your job to have it in order. It's a complete spirit of many devils.
Not only that, man, like adultery, you cause one of your ribs to have a seed by who you calling the damn devil.
Right.
You calling them the damn devil, but you sent your woman out there to spiritual adultery and physical adultery, and then give Esau seed.
Mm-hmm. And then also take them back when it's at your pleasure, and then give them out, send them out, make them open up Tinder accounts, like you said. And now coming off of this fetish, what's a woman gonna do? She's eventually gonna go through with your sick fantasies and the fact you've been forcing her to take these steps and to do these actions. Setting up Tinder accounts, setting up dates with white men. And then all the while putting on this facade of bringing women and brothers and sisters out of the world, letting them know who the enemy is. But then you're sending those in your house back out to the enemy. So if you'll do that, that means what? That means you'll do the same to the rest of the flock. If that's what you'll do with your flock inside your house, you'll do the same with the rest of your flock. And that's a problem. That's a job. That's a job that you can never return to again, because you've been proven to be a wolf that put on the cover of a shepherd. So if you can repent, but you can't come back to being a leader in that sense, because you've already wore the mask. And who's to say you're not wearing it again? Who's to say in the future you're giving the appearance of repentance, but really you're a wolf and you was doing what you had to do to get in with the sheep again?
But where's the sincerity too? Because you already back teaching. You're already back at the Passover. Where's the sincerity? It didn't even a whole month go by. Where's the sincerity in repentance?
Doesn't exist.
I got scripture, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23, and I think I'm going to read down to 8. And it says, Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sat in Moshe's seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be home, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. So you're doing all these things to be seen of men. You're making yourself to be seen of men. You're making yourself like you the leadership. You're ravening wolves, and you want to call yourself chief this and that. You know what I mean? To be seen of men. And then you lay heavy burdens on men. We had a brother that was amongst this brother in the camp, and he had to take these brothers to go to camp in New York for these brothers to meet with them. And they told him he got to pay $100 fine because a brother jumped out of his car drunk, and that he was responsible for this drunk brother. How he responsible for this other drunk brother's actions? And he from there, and he got to get home to his children.
Well, that's not you shorten the story too much. The brother didn't just get out the car drunk. It's not that he I
was giving a nutshell version.
Yeah, but because it is our job to tend to our brother if he's drunk. This brother went and disappeared for what, hours?
Yeah,
for hours. Just went and did his own thing, and then the brother was expected to just wait. Who knows if he coming back at all? He probably went and laid up with some
push-ups. This brother's not doing no 150 push-ups. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have something where this is a burden that he brought on his sister. This is Job 27:13-15. This is the portion of a wicked man with Yahweh. and the heritage of the oppressor, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword. And if his offspring shall not be, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread, those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widow shall not weep. This is what her child is destined to.
Yeah, but not only them, those who follow him behind him under this leadership. Yeah, I mean, these are like little children. These are the people who cause an offense as little children. This is what he talking about, people that should have the millstone tied around their neck and tossed in the ocean.
He just brought forth Esau's seed.
Yeah.
And this is Esau's destiny.
Yeah. Awful. Man, nasty work, man. Nasty work.
God.
And we love this brother too. We got love for this brother, man. Like this brother, man, body of work. We was like, damn, man. Like, how is this?
Is that a sign here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another brother from the R&B group.
Yeah, kind. But let's move on from that. There's somebody. Well, somebody can see this video because I don't even know that dude. He talking crazy.
Sure, there's one there.
Anyway, James Fernandez, if you're watching, we don't know you. We don't know you. If you don't like the video coming out, go watch. Go do something else. Go watch a different video. Go live by the standard of the Most High Yahweh.
Huh.
Titus 2, 1-15.
The book of Titus 2, 1-15. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged woman, likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not giving them much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober.
So this is both men and women, teachers of good things. Because it started off with the men. And who's the man first teaching? His woman.
That's right.
Right? Not sending his woman out to the devil. Keep going, though. Keep going. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Slakia. To love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, obedient to their own husbands.
Good.
Slakia. To be keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed.
So you as a shepherd, it is your job to see that this is your woman. It's your job to see that your woman is discreet, chaste, keep her at home, good, obedient to her husband, a teacher of good things to the other younger women. So that means if you decide to get a woman from the world, she's already got 10 million demons on her. You knew that before you brought her in. So it's still your job to get her right. It's your job to build her up because you knew what she was before she came into your house. You out in the world, you picking whores and laying with them and using the rule. I lay with you, my wife. And this woman don't know Genesis 1 from Revelation 1, right? And you bring her into your house and telling this woman, you my wife now. It's on you to build her up to the laws of God. It's on you to be patient and to teach her and bring her along slowly and with patience. That's on you because you went out and you picked her up knowing who she was. Yeah. I don't care. He looks like a whole bug out old demon.
He's smoking.
Like kick rocks. James Fernandez, son of a conquistador. Yeah. What's up?
That's what he looked like.
Go ahead.
Leviticus 7:21. Moreover, the soul that shall touch any unclean thing, as the uncleanness of a man, or any unclean beast, or any abominable unclean thing, and eat of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which pertaineth unto the Lord, even that soul shall be cut off from his people.
So this is something you don't even, if you're not gonna meet this criteria, you don't even want to pick this up and start to follow this, do you? It's a dangerous thing to pick up and declare yourself a servant of the Most High.
And that's both of them.
Con, that's both.
And now he's with her.
Mm-hmm.
He's unclean.
Mm-hmm. Now he's unclean. Yeah, you supposed to that's why the scriptures say to prove a friend. And some people say, "No, I'm getting a rib. I ain't getting a friend." Well, the point wasn't. The point wasn't.
You better get a friend.
The point wasn't whether it's a friend or not. The point in the whole time was the proving. Prove a friend. Prove somebody that you're gonna bring in your inner circle. Prove them first. Like that is simple.
What a difference between holy and unholy.
Right, yeah. And that means it what? It takes proving. You can't. Anybody can put on the appearance of being clean, but to find out if they're really this appearance they give, the humble, the dresses, the head wraps, or if it's a man, the fringes, the garments, the headbands, whatever it is. It takes proving to find out, is this just a facade? Is it a show for this person to get what they want? Or do they really live this life? Do they really believe the same things that I believe in? Are they really going to walk down the same path as me as a friend and not an enemy?
Because you find out at the wrong time, you got to peel the layers of the onion back on that head wrap. Trying to tell you, I'm telling you from experience. You don't want to end up like that. It leads you down the wrong road. You have things going the wrong way. And then you're going to lose a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But keep going. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded. In all things showing thyself a pattern of good works. Mm-hmm. And doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, and sincerity.
And I want to say, we put Gorilla on the screen, but he's not the only one.
No.
It's others that things are coming to light. What we're reading here, the showing uncorruptness in doctrine, gravity, sincerity. If you go on some of the clubhouse rooms and listen to these brothers, they're arguing, they're getting offended, they have no gravity. What's the definition of gravity? They lack gravity, sincerity, and how is it shown? It's shown through their tongue. And I heard a brother on there earlier today that he was offended by some a disagreement that's going on between him and another brother, and
primarily refers to dignified seriousness of solemnity.
Seriousness. So if I'm serious and you've offended me, if I'm in the spirit, and if I'm this high-ranking leader or in this high position, that means I know how to deal and be offended and not lose my mind. That's the definition of gravity. Is what?
Dignified seriousness.
Dignified seriousness. So I can be serious, and I can take your insults seriously. I can take your offenses seriously, but I can still remain dignified. That means I'm not returning fire with, you B-A-N. You said this, that, and the third. Wait until you see me. It's going to be problems. I bet you punk money sign. Won't talk none of that ish when you see me in person. That's not dignified seriousness. But people that are in high positions, supposed to be leaders of men, supposed to be shepherds, good examples, is it with a little bit of strife, a little bit of offense, it comes out that a lot of brothers don't have this requirement. This requires in them as shepherds.
In context, KJV, a leader or teacher demonstrating seriousness and dignified demeanor, fitting for the role. For example, 1 Timothy 3:4-5 describes a bishop ruling his household with all gravity, implying that his children should be under his authority with a respect and seriousness that reflects his leadership role.
So that means if you've been talking down on me, you've been spreading gossip about me, or you've been insulting me, or you just been coming against my doctrine or my beliefs, I'm not returning vengeance on you with all types of you MF and BAN come and see about me. BITCH. So if this is the level you're at, it's not the end of the world. You still got to work on yourself. You still got some learning to do. You still got some living to do. You still got some cleaning to do. But that means you're not ready to be in that seat of being a leader, of being a shepherd, because you still need to be shepherded. You still need to be fed. You still need to be watered. You still need to be tended to. Okay? Verse 8.
Verse 8. Sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again, nor purloining, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of Yahweh our Savior in all things. For the grace of Yahweh that bringeth salvation have appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in the present world, looking for the blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great power and our Savior, Hamashiach Yahushua, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all iniquity, and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. So let no man despise it.
Taking this office, it's your job to be this example. It's your job to speak this. It's your job to exhort it. It's your job to rebuke with all authority. And let no man despise thee, meaning what? When you're doing this office, you can't be found guilty of the rebukes, the same rebukes that you're giving. You can't be found guilty of really having a fetish with your women being abused by the nations, and then go out and get boot kisses from the nations. Then go out and talk about how trash the nation's women are. Go out and talk about how trash a sister is because she's walking with a white man, but the whole time, if you get her in your house, you're going to set up a Tinder app for to go get with white men secretly.
The fairness of that is if we was really at war, we was conquering and stuff, we would be taking their women and absorbing them, and they would be giving us seed to multiply our nation because the seed comes from man. But you giving your woman to the other nations, whereas though we would have executed all the men from the other nations, and you giving seed to the other nations through your womb or your woman. You know what I mean? So that they have the curses that fall upon the other nations. That's the foolishness of it all.
So let's go back. Let's go back to 1 Peter chapter 5.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 5, starting at verse 4. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, Hashatan, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions and are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. But Yahweh of all grace, who have called us unto the eternal glory of Mashiach Yahushai. After that, ye have suffered a while, make ye perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
And you see young bucks bucking up against elders too, you know what I mean, trying to chase clout and stuff like that, instead of trying to show exhortation to these elders and learn from them. You know what I mean? And that's wrong too. You have to get under an elder because they have experiences. They're well traveled. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to be taught. You know what I mean? So you can't just get on here and exhort yourself and want to be puffed up, because elders have knowledge that you don't.
That it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So a shepherd also is a watchman. A shepherd has to be a leader by example, has to feed the flock. He also has to be a watchman. Ezekiel 33, 1-7.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, 1-7. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, and whoever so heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
Mm-hmm. Keep going to 7.
But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. Mm-hmm. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me.
So as a shepherd, you have to be a watchman, right? So one thing we have to have as watchmen, as shepherds, is we have to learn discernment. We have to learn discernment. We have to learn what needs to be, when a trumpet needs to be blown, or when, things can be handled kind of more low key. Like with this whole scenario, the whole situation with Gorilla and what he got going on with his ribs, giving them to white men and getting, pegged by his ribs and all this wickedness he got going on, right? It's causing a rift between some people. Some people are mad and saying the brother shouldn't have brought this out publicly, and then some people are on the side of he should. But the others are like, nah, you should handle things. Matthew 18. If your brother offends you, go see him directly. All this arguing, bickering is showing a lack of discernment and understanding. There is levels of transgressions, right? Some things require for the trumpet to be blown for everybody to know. Specifically, when you got someone who is a shepherd, a leader of many men, is supposed to be caring for the flock, and he's doing things that this brother is doing in his house. Everybody needs to know so that they know there is a wolf amongst the sheep. You don't hide the wolf amongst the sheep.
Oh, no.
You don't go pretend like he ain't there and get accounts together and say, how we going to go corner the wolf just to get him to leave out the way he came in. No, you killed the wolf. You let everybody know that there's a wolf in the midst until you can eradicate the wolf from the sheep. Right? You don't keep that a secret. You let everybody know there's a wolf there that's got the appearance of a shepherd. That way, if this wolf ever come back again, everybody knows, wait, that's a wolf. That wolf is very clever. He's very crafty, and he knows how to put on the appearance of another sheep or of a shepherd. But no, now we know that that's a wolf. We have to look out for him, because if we let him amongst the sheep, he's going to take one out, or he might take two out, or he might take three out. And that's the situation you have with this brother. It's not something where you go in secret and say, hey, man, I think you should stop sending your women off to get ran through by a white man, then bring them home, and then going out and teaching that it's wicked for black women to be with white men. I think you should chill. No, you got to bring that out. Now, it's one thing if he got a porn addiction or something. That you don't go tell everybody. The whole world don't need to know that the brother is battling with porn. He's had this problem. Then you can counsel. Then you can keep it under wraps. And that's what a lot of people lack, is discernment of what requires a trumpet being blown and what requires, low-key counsel, going directly to the brother, trying to build him up that way. Every situation is different. And you have to learn that you have a responsibility yourself as a shepherd. So if what's going on is going to be a detriment to everybody else, everybody needs to know. If there's a pedophile in your school or camp congregation, and yeah, maybe he served his time, right? But the same way he has to sign up at his job and let it be known. Yeah, the body deserves to know.
That's right.
Women deserve to know there's a pedophile around, and they got children that they got underneath for them. The fathers too.
That's right.
And if he repented, he served his time, cool. But you still got to be dealt with a certain way. People know, like, okay, he can't be too friendly with the kids. The kids can't be jumping on his lap,
not at all.
And then he just letting it be and left with, yeah, exactly. Like certain things have to be taken care of with that situation. Certain protections have to be put in place, even if it's just a watchful eye. But if things are being done in secret, nobody knows, then this wolf can when he's ready to come out and raven, he's ready to come out and he can do it, because nobody knew, because these so-called other shepherds was keeping this secret. It's like, yeah, we know about this wolf. We can't let everybody else know. So we'll take the charge of making sure everything's cool. But then they got their own shit, and they ain't around all the time. And now the wolf, he's just waiting for them. Like, yeah, I know they know my secret. But when they're not around, then I can attack. So, yeah, so all the people that sit here backing that, getting mad, oh, it should have been done in secret. No, these niggas are wicked too. And a lot of people, when that's the way they want things, it's because they got things they're trying to hide too. They don't want to be found out. They want to be able to do the same thing.
So I have an address. Mm-hmm. Proverbs 27:5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Open rebuke is better than secret love. And even Paul said in Titus, rebuke them sharply that they be sound in the faith. Cats got to stop getting offended when they get a rebuke and they just don't like the way it was done. No, cool. Sometimes things are hard to take. You get a little offended by how something was done. But if it's for your soul, you should be looking at it like, okay, was they right? Or was they wrong? And then after I dealt with it, I might be glad they did it that way. Or after I fix the problem, then go and express, hey, I don't like the way you brought that out, but I did fix it.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, 13 through 15. Who will pity a snake charmer bitten by a serpent, or any who go near wild beasts? So no one will pity a man who associates with a sinner and becomes involved in his sins. He will stay with you for a time, but if you falter, he will not stand by you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you associate with the people who doing stuff like that, you're going to fall with them. You know what I mean? Y'all going to fall together. And who going to pity you for it? Because you knew. You didn't take heed. You didn't hear the warning of the shepherds.
Yep. All right, let's get back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 47, 1 through 31.
46.
Oh, Salakia. The book of Genesis 46, 33. And it shall come to pass when Pharaoh shall call you and shall say, what is your occupation? That ye shall say, thy servants' trade have been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Verse 47. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, what is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, thy servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, for to sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spoke unto Joseph, saying, thy father, thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land, make thy father and brethren to dwell. In the land of Goshen, let them dwell. And if thou knowest any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. And Joseph brought in Jacob, his father, and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage.
That's something to remember too. That's something to remember too. When you're going through your ups and downs, you're going through your heartaches, you're going through your affliction. Just remember, am I better than my father Jacob? Jacob's life was 130 years, and he said that it was few and evil have the days of his life been. So look, if Jacob went through it, we're going to go through it. If David went through it, we're going to go through it. If Yahweh went through it, you're going to go through it. Everybody is going to be tried and put to a test to see if they can endure all things and keep the ways of the Most High and then be saved once they've endured. Right? Go ahead.
And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his fathers and his brethren and gave them possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. And they bought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and for flocks, and for cattle of the herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for the year. When that year was ended, they came into him the second year, and said unto him, he will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also have our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed, that we may live and not die. Slakia, that the land be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, and the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt, even unto the other end thereof. Only the land of priests bought he not, for the priests had portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. Then Joseph said unto the people, behold, I have bought ye this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, for seeds of the field, and for your food, and for them of your household, and food for your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the fifth part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his sons Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under thy thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and they shall carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I shall do as thou hast said.
So what we find in the scriptures with our forefathers is the importance of burial and often being buried with your fathers, right? And a lot of people in the world, they want to cremate. They want to carry their family around in a little keepsake around their neck, or in a what's it called, the urn on the shelf. But we didn't do that. That wasn't our custom. Our custom was to bury, and it was it was a good thing to not just be buried, but to be buried with your forefathers, to be buried with your people. And why Genesis 3:19 shows us that the Most High, he said that this is the way to do it. Genesis 3:19.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3:19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken for dust. Thou art, and all unto dust shalt thou return.
So when it was placed on men that they would die, he said that you was taken out of this ground, and that's where you're going to return to. He never said go burn your body, go burn the bones, and go put it in cups or urns or necklace charms or scatter it on the river. He said, from the dust you came, from the dust you return. Also, Tobit 1:16-18. We're going to see that it was a good deed. It still is a good. It was and still is a good deed to bury those that pass away.
In the time of Enemeneser, I gave many alms to my brethren, and gave my bread to the hungry, and my clothes to the naked, And if I saw any of my nation dead or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him.
Mm-hmm. Verse 18.
And if the king Sennacherib had slain any when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privily. For in his wrath he killed many, but the bodies were not found when they were sought for of the king.
Mm-hmm. Go to chapter 12, verse 12 to 13.
Verse 12 and 13. Now therefore, when thou didst pray, and Sarah thy daughter-in-law, I did bring the remembrance of your prayers before the Holy One. And when thou didst bury the dead, I was with thee likewise.
This is the angel Gabriel speaking to Tobit about what we just read, what he was doing in chapter 1. He would give his clothes to the needy, he would feed the needy, and he also would bury the dead, his brethren that he found dead. Go ahead, verse 13.
And when thou didst not delay to rise up and leave thy dinner to go and cover the dead, thy good deed was not hid from me, but I was with thee.
So this is a good deed. This is a good deed, the same as giving your bread to the poor, giving the clothes to the naked. If you help in burying the dead, these are all good deeds that are being recorded in heaven. Okay? Now moving on from that, we're going to see how it was important being buried with your fathers, sleeping with your fathers. 1 Kings 2, verse 10.
1 Kings 2 and 10. So David slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. 1 Kings 11 and 43.
Mm-hmm.
And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, his father, and Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his stead.
There's a common theme. It's a common theme to be buried with your fathers. 1 Kings 22:50.
1 Kings 22:50. And Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father, and Jehoram, his son, reigned in his stead.
So even showing the honor of being buried, you find the wicked often deprived of this good deed. You'll see that in 1 Kings chapter 16, verse 16 to 19. Like a lot of times to return the disgrace to those who was wicked, to those who was evil, is them not being buried, their bodies being left to the elements, the fowls of the heavens, the dogs, just not being given any burying place. That was a dishonor. And even being burned, we're going to see that too. So, we a lot of us, we like to burn our dead, put them in that urn around our neck. You never find in the scriptures where it was an honorable thing for your dead to be burned. Always buried. And you find that the wicked are sometimes being punished after death by not being allotted this burial.
The book of 1 Kings 16 and 19. And the people that were in camp heard say, Zimri have conspired and have also slain the king. Wherefore, all Israel made Omri, the captain of the host, king over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up from Gibbethon, and all Israel with him. And they besieged Tirzah. And it came to pass when Zimri saw that the city was taken, that he went into the palace of the king's house and burnt the king's house over him with fire and died for his sins, which
so
he
the Most High
sinned.
put a spirit on him that he was already taken. He was already done. So instead of being killed by the enemies, he go into the house and burn himself in the house with fire and died that way. And he had no burial. And verse 19 tells us why this happened.
For the sins which he sinned in doing evil in the sight of Yahweh, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he did to make Israel to sin.
So because he did these things, sinned and did evil in the sight of the Most High, walked in ways of Jeroboam, the Most High brought him to his end by being burnt in the fire. That he put the spirit on him to go into the house itself and to die inside the house with fire and not have a burial. Also, 2 Kings 9, verse 24 to 26.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 9, 24 and 26. And Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram between his arms. And the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captain, take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite.
Mm-hmm.
For remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father,
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh laid his burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons, saith Yahweh, and I will requite thee in this plat, saith Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore take and cast him into the plat of ground according to the word of Yahweh.
And that plat of ground was the ground that Ahaz had stole from I think it was Naboth.
It was the vineyard that Jezebel
the vineyard.
wanted.
Right. So he died and got cast into that vineyard, had no burial. Left out for the birds, the animals, the elements to just rot away, get ate by the animals, and that was his end. Also, verse 30 to 36.
And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tired her head and looked out the window. And Jehu entered into the gate, and she said, had Zimri peace who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him two or three eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. And he trod her underfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was come, and he did eat and drink, and said, go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, this is the word of Yahweh, which he spake by his servant Elijah, the Tishbite, saying, the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel,
Mm-hmm.
and the carcasses of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel. Mm-hmm. So the dogs ate her and pooped her up pretty much in the field.
This is part of the punishment that comes on to the wicked, being denied that burial, being left for the dogs to eat, left for the birds to eat, left for the elements.
And they only left her skull, the palms of her hands, and her feet, and they ate everything else. Whew.
2 Chronicles 24 to 25.
For the army of the Syrians came with a small company of men, and Yahweh delivered all the very great host in their hand, because they had forsaken Yahweh, the power of their fathers. So they executed judgment against Joash. And when they were departed from him, for they left him in great disease, his own servants conspired against him for the blood of the sons of Jehoiada, the priest, and slew him on his bed, and he died. Mm-hmm. And they buried him in the city of David, but they buried him not in the sepulchres of the kings.
So this king had killed the son of Jehoiada, the priest. This was the king that was hidden by the priest Jehoiada. His I think stepmom had killed all his brothers and became queen. Y'all familiar with that story?
Yeah, it's
right.
Athaliah.
Right, Athaliah.
Yeah,
And when
Jezebel's daughter.
and when Joash, when he got grown and old and got prideful, was in his kingdom and lifted up, Zechariah, I believe, was Jehoiada's son's name. Anyway, he came and rebuked him for something, and because he didn't like it, what did he do? He killed the prophet. And because of that, he still was buried, but he wasn't buried amongst his fathers. He wasn't buried amongst the other kings. That's why it says they buried him, but not in the sepulchres of the kings. The sepulchres of the kings is where we read David died, was buried with his fathers. Solomon died, was buried with his fathers. Who was the next one? Jehoshaphat died, was buried with his fathers. That was taken away from Joash because of the wickedness he did. Jeremiah 8, 1-2.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 1 and 2. At that time, saith Yahweh, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of their priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the host of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth.
And then he doubled back because of the wickedness we did, because of the turning from the Most High. He doubled back, and all these kings, their bones was removed from the burying spots. And like it said, he said the bones of the kings would be as dung on the earth. And that's also why when they say, oh, you can't find the bones of King David, you can't prove this or that, because where are the bones at? Where are the bones of King Solomon? He didn't exist, or whoever. This is it right here. This is why. There ain't no bones for them to discover. The bones for them to discover been gone. But just to show that it was a dishonor to not be buried, and it was an honor to be buried and buried with your forefathers. And a good deed that if somebody died and had nobody to bury them, that'd be a good deed. It's such a good deed to be counted on your behalf, one of your good deeds. To did that. That's what we found in Tobit. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 48.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No.
All right. Verse 31 of 47.
Verse 31, 47, 31. And he said, swear unto me, and he swore unto him, and Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, Yahweh Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now the two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine, name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan, the way when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The same is Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom Yahweh hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and kissed them, and embraced them. And Israel saith unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, Yahweh hath showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in the right hand towards Israel, Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in the left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, Yahweh, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, Yahweh, which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from the evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac.
Mm-hmm. From there, Romans 9:7.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Back in verse 4, when it says the multitude, is that talking? Can you precept that with
verse 4? And he said, "Behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession." Is
that a good precept for Revelation 7:9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's more specific precepts to show Israel coming out of the nations.
Yes, and also the two sons that replaced the two grandsons that replaced their uncles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are also the same one. You can, even though they.
Wait, the two grandsons that replaced who? What two?
Dan. They just replaced Joseph.
Ephraim
replaced Joseph.
Yeah, we're gonna go into that.
Okay, all right. Okay.
No, actually, I would say different, but yeah, I would say Ephraim replaced him, but you'll see why. You'll see what I'm talking about.
All right.
But definitely, that's where they got the double portion.
Yeah, okay.
They got the double portion from Dan.
All right.
But
And
this was
what
our
about Reuben?
Reuben. He lost his whatchamacallit, his firstborn status.
Yeah, even though it's a nation coming out of him, that when they say that the nations multitude be coming out out of 7 and 9 of Revelation, even though he's not mentioned.
Multitude coming out of 7-9 of what?
Revelation.
Of what though?
Of the multitude.
Are we talking about Dan still?
Dan and
yeah, we're gonna deal with that.
Okay,
I'm gonna show how Dan isn't in the elect, but he's still in the kingdom.
Okay, I got you.
We about to deal with all that. So let's just keep reading. And it's in this chapter and the next. So where we leave off? Let's go to Romans 9, showing the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac. Just another one to go with Romans 9, showing this name was passed down to Israelites. We never find it a blessing passed down to the sons of Ishmael, the sons of the other wives he had. When Jacob blesses, he talks about the name of Abraham and Isaac being on his children. And so Romans 9, 7 to 11.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, 7 through 11. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Mm-hmm.
That is, they which are the children of flesh, these are not the children of Yahweh, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. For the children, being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahweh according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth.
So this was done of election. The whole Joseph's his son, but now Ephraim and Manasseh, they're being taken. They're his grandsons, but they're being brought into the number of his sons, meaning what? they would each have their own tribe. They would be the heads of their own tribe. While as the rest of the children of Jacob, they're the heads of the tribe. They didn't have children that head up a whole separate tribe. All the children of Judah became of the tribe of Judah. All the children of Asher, tribe of Asher. But Joseph, his tribe is now split into two tribes. Where everybody else, they got themselves, Joseph was allotted 2 tribes with his children, basically making them inheritors of Jacob's blessing, directly, even though regardless, they would have been sons of Joseph. But it's like he said, now it's a double portion for Joseph, right? So that's why each tribe is allotted land, but Joseph is allotted too, because Ephraim's allotted their own land, and Manasseh's allotted their own land. And then this multitude's growing, this multitude's growing. So he got double what everybody else got.
We've seen that also as a shadow when Joseph took and fed his brother a double portion. When they came back to his table, he said he brought his younger brother and he says, give him a double portion.
Yeah. And it's also showing this, like this is why we went here. This is by election. Jacob's already been given these revelations by the Most High. Jacob is righteous and the servant of the Most High and knows his will, right? So Jacob knows the election that these 2 sons will be taken into the number of being inheritors of the children of Israel. And it was done not by flesh, not by man's will. It was all already preordained, the will of the Most High, by election. And even
the number can't be numbered, right?
Right. It's all already preordained. This is already wrote out in the Most High script, right? So even what we're about to read of now, we're gonna see who we see Jacob. He takes the Ephraim, the younger, makes him the older in terms of inheritance, because he already knew this is of election. So when Joseph's like, no, this is the older, and Jacob's like, yeah, he's going to be blessed, but Ephraim is the inheritor of, your firstborn in the spirit. That was of election.
Same thing happened to Esau and Jacob.
Right, exactly. Same thing all over. So, all right, so back to verse 16, and let them grow.
And let them grow in a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly, his younger brother shall be a greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, in these shall Israel bless, saying, Yahweh make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but Yahweh shall be with you and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren.
So now he's letting it be known, I'm giving you one portion above your brethren. Go ahead.
Which I took out of the hand of the Amorites with my sword and with my bow.
So when did Jacob ever go against the Amorites with sword and bow? Up to this point. Huh?
That's a good question.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he didn't. So this is a future prophecy. This is a future prophecy, and we can find it in Judges 1, verse 22 to 29. Go ahead and read that.
The book of Judges, chapter 1, 22 to 29. And the house of Joseph, they also went up against Bethel, and Yahweh was with them. And the house of Joseph set to decree Bethel.
Destroy Bethel.
Now The name of the city before was Luz.
I don't know how that happened when I copy pasted, but
And the spies saw a man come forth out of the city, and they said unto him, Show us, we pray thee, the entrance into the city, and we will show thee mercy.
mm-hmm.
And when he showed them the entrance into the city, they smote the city with the edge of the sword. But they let go the man and all his family.
Mm-hmm.
And the man went into the land of Hittites and built a city and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof until this day. Neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Bethshean and her towns, nor Tanakh and her towns, nor inhabitants or Dor and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Iblim and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns. But the Canaanites would dwell in that land.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass when Israel was strong that they put the Canaanites to tribute and did not utterly drive them out.
So they couldn't they couldn't drive them all the way out, but they conquered them and put them to tribute. Go ahead.
Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites. They dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them.
Verse 34.
And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain.
So while everybody else is warring with these the nations, this is coming into the land the Most High gave us. And everybody, they're trying to destroy all the nations. They're conquering them, not driving them all out, but they're putting them to tribute. While everybody else is going to battle and conquering the heathens, not so with Dan. The Amorites forced Dan into the mountains. Dan couldn't even defeat the Amorites, right? Go ahead.
For they would not suffer them to come down to the valley.
So they was overtaken. They hiding in the mountains now. They can't even come down to the valley to take their land. Go ahead.
But the Amorites would dwell in Mount Ares, in Ajalon, in Salabim.
Go ahead.
Yet the hand of the house of Joseph prevailed, so that they became tributaries.
So, but the house of Joseph came in and prevailed, and now they became tributaries. Go ahead.
And the coast of the Amorites was from the going to Akrabim, from the rock and upward.
So this is when Jacob came in and his sword. What we read up top, it said his sword. He took the portion he gave to Joseph. He took out of the hand of the Amorite with his sword and with his bow. That's this Dan's portion that Joseph came in and did Dan's dirty work for him with the sword and the bow against the Amorite. You don't find that nowhere else. That's the only place you're gonna find that. That's why. So Revelation 7:2-8. Now we're going to see that they're not amongst the 144. Revelation 7:2.
The book of Revelation 7:2-8. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having a seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees.
Oh, real quick. So yeah, I said, I do agree that Manasseh got their portion. But what we're gonna go through, I think that they blended into Ephraim, and I'm gonna show why. But either way, there's still Israel and they're still in the kingdom, but they did not make the 144,000. That's what we're reading. Go ahead.
Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Yahweh in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Aser were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi,
it said of the tribe of Manasseh, sealed 12,000. So Manasseh has a rolling 144,000. Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Mm-hmm. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000.
So Joseph has to be Ephraim. So Manasseh and Joseph is Ephraim. Manasseh is taking the place of who's missing? Dan. Right? Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000.
Okay, chapter 49. And we're going to deal more with that topic in this chapter when we go on Dan.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, 1 through 33.
So remember everything that we already went over, because we're going to continue that in the blessings of Israel when it gets to Dan. And this is going to be our last chapter.
Huh. The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art
He said in what days?
The last days.
So this is dealing with the time that we in now, right? Come on. Go ahead.
Gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and thy beginning of strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch.
Mm-hmm. So that's how he lost the firstborn status. He slept with his father's maid. What did it say? Bilhah. It don't say here, but it does say it somewhere else. So he slept with Bilhah, right?
Simeon and Levi are brethren instruments of cruelty, are in their habits.
So Simeon and Levi are brethren instruments of cruelty, are in their habitations. That's where we get the Haitians and Dominicans. That's where we get the belief of the Haitians being the Levites, Dominicans being the tribe of Simeon. Joseph said in the last days, he singled them out. Simeon and Levi being brethren, and what did it say?
Cruelty are in their habitations.
Cruelty are in their habitations. So what we're looking at on the screen is what Haitian, what they known for? Voodoo, right? They known for voodoo, and voodoo works if you're not in Yahweh's side, you're not in the Most High keeping His commandments. That's when you're protected. We see divination works throughout the scriptures.
So Simeon is also known for it too. They're known for what you call Santeria. Yeah, I mean it's what you would call voodoo on the Latin side of things.
Mm-hmm. I got a couple of images of them too, but exactly, they both are into the voodoo. Cruelty is in their habitations. They also both like to wield that machete. They like to walk around with choppers, you know.
And they got to stand against each other as brothers.
Exactly.
One was conquered by the French and one was conquered by the Spaniards.
And they're on the same island. Same island. But this is the, you know, this is what they're doing down there. God. Instruments of cruelty in their habitations. Right?
I watched a documentary as well in Haiti where they're going into the graveyards, digging up bones, crushing them, mixing them with chemicals and smoke.
Yeah, these cats, man. Yo.
Just going in with backpacks at night, just going through the land.
Yeah, they throw it off. They throw it off.
Yeah.
They got a serious spirit on them.
Yeah, they give praise to Loas and stuff instead of the Most High. I mean, so they can get certain powers from these different Loas. Yeah, these Loas is like the derivative of what you would call even patron saints of the Catholic Church. Yeah, I mean, they're the same thing. if you go into them. That's how you know the Catholic Church is going off too, because it has nothing to do with the Most High. They took they got these patron saints from what you would call Loas and Voodoo.
Mm-hmm. They got these damn dolls, man. They start pulling. They take one of these dolls and make a doll of you and
take your stick hair, pencils
and stick pencils in the rectum of the doll, and now you got to issue out your anus for the next till you die. You know, all types of crazy shit.
Debauchery.
This is what they do. They also
so pale.
You know, they also got some serious games, right?
Yep. Yep, and they got the Trinitarios. I saw this when this happened. I saw this. They was going back and he cut dude fingers off.
Yeah, dude. These guys having a full blown machete fight with no armor in front of the gas station. Picture in the bottom right. That's him picking his hand up. So, and funny enough, the one on top, delivering the blows from on top, that's the one that lost his hand. But, these are Dominicans with the Santa Maria.
Santa Maria. He said Santa Maria.
What is
Santa Maria?
Santa Maria, yeah. Some demons.
They call botanicals.
Next week, when you go over this more, are we gonna? Is it possible we can tie Ezekiel 48 to this too?
That's in here today.
Huh?
It's in here today.
Yeah, we going there today.
What, Ezekiel?
Yeah, this chapter we're gonna go there.
Okay, all right.
And these cats, they got they voodoo stuff on or Santa Maria stuff. They got the whips at the Spanish festival at the parade. I seen they be marching down 4th Street with the cars got 10,000 speakers blasting Dominican music. And they walking around they walking following behind and walking in front cracking these whips. It's kind of retarded. I don't know. I guess I found out today that's part of the Santa Maria, because when I first seen it was like a couple summers ago, I was like, man, what's going on with these cats? They got the 20,000 speakers blasting, and then they got these dudes walking in front and back just cracking whips. What's the point? I don't know. But apparently it has something to do with what? Santa Maria. But keep going. So verse 6.
Oh my soul, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. My honor be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in all in Israel.
Mm-hmm. So, and we see today, Haitians and Dominicans, they share an island, but they don't get along. And you also can find Haitians and Dominicans in every hood in America, where you're going to find Jake, where you're going to find blacks, you're going to find Puerto Ricans, you're going to find Haitians and Dominicans. And Jamaicans. And the Haitians and Dominicans, same island, claiming we're not the same. They look the same, but we not the same. They live from the same island. We not the same.
But that was the divide and conquer method from France when the Haitians conquered the French.
Yeah, but really it was what Jacob said. That's where it originated. Because he said, curse be their anger. Because why did he say that? Remember what they did in Shechem. Jacob wasn't cool with that, but that was of the Most High. But he said, "Cursed be their anger," because the way they played that out. Right. Verse 8.
Verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
So Judah, so-called American blacks, who was the first to rise up? Who was the first to rise up with the civil rights movement? Who was the leader in all these the revolutions to get equality and get rights and come up out from underneath of the quote unquote white man's foot? They was the first every time. It's always first. It's the black quote so-called black man. Then everybody else falls in suit behind him.
Yep. It says he is him who is his brother shall praise. That means their imitation. They're gonna follow after their acts. If we rap, they're gonna rap. We came up with rap, they're gonna come up with reggae. The Dominicans gonna come up with reggaeton and so on and so forth. Everybody gonna dress like us. They're gonna follow behind us. We was in the civil rights movement. We had the Black Panthers. Then they're gonna have the Brown Berets, and they're gonna have the Native American coalitions. They're gonna follow behind what we do.
And all the laws that were passed, the equal rights laws, and all the changes made, they were made from what? They were made from this fight right here. The women's, whether it's women's rights, because what's the one that's for women's rights? They made it look movement. It was really for white women's rights.
Yeah, let's start with Susan B. Anthony.
That's what they really did it for. But you can thank the black civil rights movement. But even past that, music, like you said, rappers, the rap industry. Now everybody, all Jake want to be rappers now. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Haitians, Jamaicans, everybody, Colombians, everybody, all Israel want to be rappers. But who started it? The so-called black man in America.
Even the Africans jumped on.
Well, some of them is Jake.
Man, they jumped on the fashion now. Like they over there in 120 degree weather rocking poo shiesties and bubble coats. Right now, yeah. They crazy, but where'd they get that from? They saw Judah doing it, and Judah's the one that everybody's gonna fall behind. Like even in sports, you see on the screen.
It says that Judah shall be
Mm-hmm.
praise of all thy dwellings. So
Right.
we're watching the Most High bringing those two sticks together because there's some rift and there's some beef that's been put between them, a wall of division.
Yeah, the middle partition.
So right now, when we're looking at what's playing out on the earth, there's still a rift there, but the Lord is the Most High is going to reconcile that.
Mm-hmm. Like you think about all the so-called Hispanics in baseball now, right? Who broke that barrier for them? They came behind, right? Jackie Robinson benefited the cats that's coming up from Puerto Rico or Dominican or Cuba. He broke that in. It started with the Negro Leagues. The Negro Leagues breaking in, and they follow right behind. They benefited from it, and now today, Judah don't really want to play baseball. But Jake's still thriving because Simeon's thriving in baseball. Yeah. Ephraim's thriving in baseball.
Big Poppy, Coco,
they all still thriving, and so could Judah. Whenever they in there, they still thriving with the little bit number. But Judah mostly wants to play football and basketball.
Because Ephraim shall no longer envy Judah, and Judah shall no longer thank Ephraim, because that rift is there. But we're watching the resolution play out on the earth.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You even watching it now, like the Hispanics going through the things that we was going through during the civil rights movement with these attacks by Trump. Yeah, I mean, they thought they had a savior and they trusted in oppression. Yeah, I mean, so now they drinking from the cup as well, and they like, why Judah? We've been through this already. We let it already. We not next. We was already first, and now it's your turn. I mean,
So the same way with all these other fields, the civil rights movement, all those revolutions in the earlier years when for my time, for our time, the 70s, the 60s, 50s, the
Israel's time.
huh?
Israel's time.
Yeah. But even that side, it was Judah first. Then the music, Judah first. Sports, Judah first. Then the same thing with what we got today, so-called Black Hebrew Israelism, the truth coming out. First, it was the so-called black man going out in the streets, and then they spread to everybody else. Judah went out to what did it say? Wake up the tribes of Judah first.
yeah.
Judah, the Most High woke up Judah. That's how you know it was Judah. Them cats was first going and doing this first, because the Most High was waking up Judah, just like the scriptures say.
Got a precept.
Go ahead.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 7. And Yahweh shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah.
So this all plays into the blessing that Jacob gave him in this chapter too. Okay, we'll sing later. All right.
Rocky. I can see, you can see that Esau is aware of this right here, prophecy, and this is why he's taking advantage of shipping these brothers out of this country. And I have a scripture here.
And before you read it, this is why the spirit of your vocabs are raised up, because that's Esau seeing what's going on too. And Esau does not want his kingdom in. He does not want you Negroes waking up. He does not want you Spics waking up. He does not want you wetbacks waking up.
He knows the prophecy. Zechariah 9:13-17. And when I have bent Judah for me, fill the bow with Ephraim, and raise up thy sons, O Zion, against the sons of Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. And the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as lightning. And the Lord Yahweh shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with the whirlwind of the south. And the Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as though wine, as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. The Lord Yahweh, their Yahweh, shall save them in that day as a flock of his people.
Con.
It goes on.
You got more?
Yeah, I got more.
Go ahead.
Flows of his people, for they shall be as the stone of a crown lifted up as an ensign upon his land. For how great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty. Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids.
All praises. Let's keep going. Verse 10.
Verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And under him shall the gathering of the people be, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Now Jacob's prophesying of Yahushua. Prophesying Yahushua. We find that in Hebrews 7:13-17.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 7, 13-17. For he of whom these things are spoken pertained to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our lords sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood, and is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there ariseth another priest, who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, Salakia, but after the power and endless life. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
And Jacob, he prophesied to Christ. He said, and of Judah. The scepter would not depart out of Judah. Judah would have all the kings of Israel until Shiloh come. And when Shiloh come out of the tribe of Judah, he would be that last king of Israel and an everlasting kingdom that never ends. Yahushua Mashiach under the order of Melchizedek. Jacob was prophesying this when he blessed Israel. He also was prophesying the destruction of all the nations and all the enemies of Israel. And when he said that his eyes would be red with fire, and what did it say?
His teeth white with milk.
Teeth white with milk, and his garment. What did it say? Is
in the blood of grapes.
In the blood of grapes. That's the prophecy. We find that Isaiah 34, 1-8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, 1-8. Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all the nations, and his fury upon all their enemies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Mm-hmm. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness of the blood of the lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion.
Isaiah 62, 1-6.
Book of Isaiah 63, 1-6.
63.
Who is it that come from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, travailing in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth the wine fat?
And this is what Jacob's prophesying: the downfall, the slaughtering of Edom, the slaughtering of all the nations that came against Israel. Go ahead.
I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of the redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. Book of Isaiah, chapter 66, 15-17. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst eating swine's flesh.
No, but Jesus cleaned all meats.
Eating swine's flesh.
No, it's not what goes in the belly, it's what comes out.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree, in the midst eating swine's flesh.
Yahushua is coming back and destroying. Yes, you swine eaters. You crab eaters. Your mouse eaters. Go ahead, keep going.
And the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh.
So the abominations, that's anything. Leviticus 11 If it is, he said don't eat it. That's the abomination.
That's right.
And the mouse and the pig
The
and
muskrat,
the crab,
the possums,
the muskrat, the
raccoon
possums,
stew,
the coons,
anything in the
coons
gumbo,
that the coons love.
crab
the
boil,
coons from-
shrimp boil,
The coons from Coon City love eating that coon on Coonmas Day.
clams and mussels.
How does the Christian can get
around
Jesus coming and save everybody?
Coming to say who, where, what?
How do they get with it?
The slain of the Lord shall be many.
Yeah.
He gonna plead with all flesh.
How do they come up with these doctrines that
Lollipops and baby angels and popes and Francis and
God love everybody.
turn to your neighbor and shake his hand and say God is good all the time.
But this is what they say.
Join me in prayer over this swine.
Yahweh loves the sinner, but not the sinner.
Mhm.
Rise, kill, and eat.
Rise, Peter.
Old Testament don't count no more. Christ came and fixed it all.
Okay.
Rise, Black Pete. Kill and eat.
Oh, Smarty Pete.
Come on. Revelation 19.
Revelation. I'm sorry. The book of Revelation, 19, 11 through 21. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but himself. And he was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of Yah.
Mm-hmm.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh. And he have on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying, to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather them yourselves together upon the supper of great Yahweh, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive in a lake of fire burning with brimstone, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
All praises Yahweh.
Good.
This is
All
Esau's karma coming back on you for 400 years of lynching.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everybody's got to be fed.
And everybody else.
Feast of the Feast.
And wicked ass TD Jakes and Cleflo and all these niggas that lie and blaspheme. Matter of fact, they blaspheme the Holy Spirit. They blaspheme the Holy Spirit. Because I mean, the Holy Spirit will flee deceit. The Holy Spirit won't dwell with somebody that's given to sin. But they sit here and lie up in your face and say, I'm led by the Spirit. If you're led by the Spirit, you don't need the law because you ain't going to do the things that the law says not do while not doing what the law says do. And talking about the Spirit ain't going to lead me to do it, but I'm doing it. What the hell is that? Other than blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Verse 13, Genesis.
The book of Genesis, verse 13. Zebulun shall dwell in the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven to ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon.
So we got the Panama Canal. That's your what's it? Uruguay to Panama. The tribe is Zebulon.
Argentina to Uruguay.
Okay. But so you got right in between going through the Panama Canal. More ships go through this canal to get from the Pacific to the Atlantic or Atlantic to Pacific than anywhere else in the world. It's the most traveled port canal. See the image? See how it goes? It goes kind of like a 2-lane road. You got one side for the Atlantic coming to the Pacific, and then you got the other side of both. Y'all see it? Yeah, it's like a 2-lane road right there. Yeah, unloaded ships or the ships just going through to get from one side to the other without having to go all the way down underneath for South America. So it said Zebulon will be a haven of ships. More ships come through the Panama Canal than anywhere else. Issachar, verse 14.
Hold on, I was going somewhere with that because we had bought it out last night.
We kind of want to speed it up.
All right. I was just scared show that where it says Zidon, it wasn't talking about the Zidon where it said the Hebrew definition was it meant a fishery town. Yeah, I mean, just for that, just to show that they was going to be dwelling in a place where fishing was going to take place. We went over it last night a little bit. Yeah, I mean that the word Zidon, it doesn't necessarily mean the place Zidon over there. It just means a place where fishing takes place.
Zebulon's border shall be unto Zidon.
Yeah.
What you got? What you got?
That's it. That's it. I just read it.
Yeah, but what did it mean again?
It means a fishery town. And if you fishing along Panama and stuff like that in that canal and stuff, like it's a vacation spot where people like to go hunting and fishing. You know what I mean? Like they go there as a destination.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the map, you can see it. This is all. Look at it. It's plenty of waterways, plenty of fishing spots. Look at all that. Let's go to Issachar, verse 14.
The book of Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens, and he saw that the rest was good, and the land was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what we got?
See that to this day.
See that?
Oh yeah, servant unto tribute. You know what I mean? Your hats off it on. That's how you know it's employment in a town. Like you're gonna see a whole bunch of Issachar there. Absolutely. If they not around, ain't no jobs there. Yep. Ain't no jobs there. You can bet your bottom dollar. If they not in the town, you're not gonna find no jobs there.
You want your roof done? Who you gonna call?
Issachar.
It'd be 20 of them on the roof. They knock out where's I used to do like type of work like that back in the day, and it'd be probably like 4 of us, but they go in there, they 20, 30 deep, they gonna knock that out in a couple hours. They gonna all get paid off of it.
And then they gonna go back and sip Modelo's or Coronas till nightfall, till maybe after, maybe till about midnight, 1, and then get up at 6
Do it again.
Do it all again. You want your landscape?
They do. They get them all. I see them every morning. They get up all together. They got the Sprinter van. And they get in there, and then they all got their own cars too. On top of that, they be like 20 in the house and got their own car. They're serving them a tribute, and they be out there. They had the beers, and sometimes they set up the mechanical bull. You know what I mean? They're just serving them a tribute.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dan, verse 16.
Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel.
So Dan, even though we've seen he's not in the 144,000. Jacob said that he will judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. First, let's go Ezekiel 47, 13 to 14.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 47, 13 to 14.
This is kingdom connotation. This is Ezekiel's prophecy of who would be in the kingdom to come. Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahweh our power. This shall be the border whereby ye shall inherit the land according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph shall have 2 portions. Joseph shall have 2 portions.
Right. So now we're talking about the land inheritance all over again in the kingdom. So they didn't make the 144,000, but let's see if they get a land inheritance.
And you shall inherit it, one as well as another, concerning the which I lifted up my hand to give it unto your fathers, and this land shall fall unto you for inheritance.
No, go to so that's the context. Now go over to chapter 48,
verse 1. Now these are the names of the tribes from the north end of the coast of the way of Hethion, as one goeth to Hamath, Hazranan, the border of Damascus, northward to the coast of Hamath, for these are his sides, east and west, a portion for Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And by the border of Dan, from the east side unto the west side, a portion for Asher.
So Dan has a portion of the inheritance of the land of Israel in the kingdom.
And by the border of Asher, for the east side, even unto the west side, a portion for Naphtali. And by the border of Naphtali, from the east side unto the west side, a portion for Manasseh. And by the border of Manasseh, from the east side unto the west side, a portion for Ephraim.
So that's your two portions for Joseph. Verse 17, Genesis.
Verse 17, Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse's heel, so that his riders shall fall backward.
So even though he would still be in the kingdom, it said that Dan, though, he would be a serpent by the way. What does a serpent do? A serpent is going to bite you. And an adder in the path to make the bite of the horse heel so that the rider shall fall backward too. What's that talking about? He's going to bring you back into your sins. He would be a serpent, always bringing the children of Israel back into their sin. What do I mean by that? Let's see. Judges 13, 1-2.
The book of Judges 13, 1 and 2. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh, and the power delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there were certain men of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren, and bare not.
Drop to verse 15.
And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee.
So what he's talking to the angel had just revealed to him about the birth of Samson coming. But now we're going to get down to the point. So it's Manoah of the tribe of Dan speaking to the angel that brought the revelation that Samson would be born. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yahweh. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of Yahweh. Mm-hmm. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, what is thy name, that when thy sins come to pass, we may do thee honor?
So Manoah was ready to do what?
He was ready to be sacrilegious.
He was ready to worship to the angel that brought him the message. Because the Danites were idolaters. Judges 18, 1-31.
Judges chapter 18, 1-31. In those days, there was no king in Israel. And in those days, the tribe of the Danites sought them an inheritance to dwell in.
So they were still seeking an inheritance from the time they got chased up into the mountains. And who came in? Joseph. So now in Judges 18, they're still seeking for an inheritance. So another thing to point out, the Most High left us in the wilderness for 40 years for fear of going and conquering, like he said, didn't he? Didn't he do that? Right? So even after that, here's Dan still not having faith in the Most High. Still not going in to take the land. So now all the way at Judges 18, they're still looking for an inheritance. And watch what they do. Go ahead.
For unto that day, their inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel. And the children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coast, men of valor, from Zorah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said unto them, Go search the land. Who, when they came to the Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, they lodged there. When they were by the house of Micah, they knew the voice of the young man, the Levite, and they turned in thither, and said unto him, Who brought thee hither? And what makest thou in this place? And what hast thou here? And he said unto them, Thus and thus dealeth Micah with me, and have hired me, and I am his priest. And they said unto him, Ask counsel, we pray thee, of Yahweh, that we may know whether our way. I lost my place.
Our way.
Whether our way. And they said unto him, Ask counsel, we pray thee, of Yahweh, that we may know whether our way which we go shall be prosperous. And the priest said unto them, Go in peace before Yahweh in your way, wherein ye go. Then the 5 men departed and came to Laish, and saw the people were therein, how they dwelt careless, after the manner of the Zidonians, quiet and secure, and there was no magistrate in the land that might put them to shame in anything. And they were far from the Zidonians, and had no business with any man. And they came unto the brethren of Zorah and Eshtaol, and their brethren said unto them, What say ye? And they said, Arise, that we may go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And are you still? Be not slothful to go, and to enter to possess the land where ye go. Ye shall come unto a people secure, to a large land, for Yahweh have given it into your hands. Place where there is no want, a place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth. And there went from thence of the family of the Danites out of Zorah, out of Eshtaol, 600 men appointed with weapons of war. And they went up and pitched in Kirjatharim in Judah, where they call the place Mahadadan. Unto this day, behold, it behind Kirjatharim. And they passed thence unto Mount Ephraim, and came unto the house of Micah. They answered the 5 men that went to spy out the country of Laish, and said unto their brethren, Do ye know that there is these houses of an ephod, and teraphim, and a graven image, and a molten image? Now therefore consider what ye have to do. And they turned thitherward, and came to the house of the young man, the Levite, even unto the house of Micah, and saluted him.
Let's see what they do. Maybe they're going to destroy the images. Correct this brothers for having them. Let's see what they do.
And the 600 men appointed with their weapons of war, which were in the children of Dan, stood by entering of the gate. And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up and came in thither, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. And the priest stood in the entering of the gate with 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. And these went into Micah's house, and fetched the carved image, the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, What do ye?
They're going to burn all these things.
And they said unto him, Hold thy peace, lay thy hand upon thy mouth, and go with us, and be to us a father and priest. Is it better for thee to be a priest unto the house of one man's, or that thou be priest unto the tribe and a family in Israel. And the priest's heart was glad, and took the ephod, teraphim, and the graven image, and went in the midst of the people. So they turned and departed, and put the little ones and the cattle and the carriage before them. And when they were good away from the house of Micah, the men that were in the houses near Micah's house were gathered together and overtook the children of Dan. And they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces and said unto Micah, What aileth thee that thou comest with such a company? And he said, Ye have taken away my gods, which I made, and the priests and ye are gone away, and what have I more? And what is this that ye say unto me? What aileth thee? And the children of Dan unto him, Let not thy voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life with the lives of the household.
So they were a bunch of they was a whole tribe of unbelievers in Yahweh, unfaithful, thieves, idolaters, and murderers. Go ahead.
And the children of Dan went their way, and when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back unto the house. And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priest which had, and came unto Laish, unto a people that were at quiet and secure, and they smote them with the edge of the sword and burnt the city with fire.
And they were cowards. They wouldn't go to war with the Amorites.
Right.
They wouldn't take their land that the Most High said, I'm gonna give it to you, not the fear. But they stole from Micah, threatened to kill him. They took his priest. Now Micah was off to it. This time everybody was evil mostly. But they came, took the priest, stole Micah's images and ephod and everything he had. Then went, threatened the people that tried to retrieve it. Then they came on a village that was quiet and secure, and not thinking nothing about war, and smoked them with the edge of the sword because they knew, they weren't going to give us no problems. So they was cool with that. Now we're going to take something when we find these people that can't do nothing about it. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And there was no deliverer because it was far from Zidon, and they had no business with any man. And it was in the valley that lieth by Betherhob. And they built a city and dwelt therein. And they called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born unto Israel. Howbeit the name of the city was Laish at the first. And the city of Dan set up a graven image, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons.
Actually, the son of Moses, but that's a translation. Go ahead.
And the sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of the captivity of the land. And they set them up Micah's graven image, which he made, and the time that the house of Yahweh was in Shiloh.
So they was wicked as hell. Let's go 1 Kings 12:28 to 30.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
This is King Jeroboam not wanting the children of Israel, northern kingdom, to return to Jerusalem. So he's setting up calves for them to worship at, to keep them from returning to the Most High, returning to Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And he set the one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan.
He put one in Bethel, Samaria, and he put one in Dan. Verse 30.
And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan.
Mostly they went up to Dan to worship up in Dan. Dan's evil as hell, man. Amos 8:11-14.
The book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 11-14. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, our power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. And that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, Thy God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again.
See that? So, Dan, you don't find a lot of scriptures. I can't think of any showing Dan returning to righteousness or living in righteousness. But you find these scriptures we just went through. We find they wouldn't go down and take their inheritance. And who came in and did that? Joseph. So you find they didn't make it into the 144,000, which the 144,000 would be what? Sealed by the law.
And Samson was elected judge, and he wouldn't even do what he was supposed to do.
He wouldn't do what he was supposed to do. And his parents were idolaters as well, right? So, you know, we see that they make it in the kingdom, but they're not in 144,000. But who comes after that? It says a multitude from other nations came, and they had to in what did it say? Let's go there real quick. Revelation 7 and it's like around 10, I think. Just to show the after the 144,000, it said that the not mixed multitude, but
no, that's not good.
Hold on.
It's verse 9. It is verse 9.
No. Go ahead, read 9 and then read 14.
After this beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number of all nations, had kindreds of people, and tongues stood before the throne.
Right, now verse 13 and 14.
Verse 13. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in the white robes? And whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, knowest, and
thou knowest.
So thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of the great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
So they're gonna have to go through great tribulation to make the kingdom. But they don't make the 144,000, but they're in the kingdom. Huh? All right, let's go back to Genesis. So, and now you had asked the questions earlier. We cover everything you was asking. All right, come on.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 18. I have waited for the salvation of Yahweh. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
And we know that the northern Native American Indians, which Gad mean the troop, was conquered by the troops of the so-called white man, the United States military.
The cavalry.
The cavalry. Right? Verse 20.
Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties.
Asher is what? Brazil, and what else? Either way, what is it? It's not just Brazil, right?
No, it's
Colombia,
Colombia
right, and Uruguay.
Colombia, but that covers Brazil. That covers this land, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so out of him shall come dainties. You got the map, all the natural resources Brazil has. You got rubber. That's a major natural resource, comes out of Brazil. You got
iron.
Vegetable oil. You got iron. You got
that's what Brazil means. Brazil comes from the Hebrew word barzal, which means iron.
You got quartz crystal. You got diamonds, industrial diamonds coming out of there. You got cocoa beans. You got
Brazilian nuts. You got gold, silver.
I'm just trying to read this key here. Some of them is hard to read. But yeah, you got bananas.
Can y'all read it on that big screen?
You got bananas. You got coffee. All types of natural resources or royal dainties coming out of there. Cocoa, like I said, coffee. What are those? Beryllium. But yeah, iron, chrome. You even got chrome, rope fiber, all types of natural resources coming out of Brazil. Verse 21, Naphtali.
Verse 21. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words.
Mm-hmm. I ain't got nothing for that. Go ahead.
Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him.
And hate him. That's where you find in Destruction of the Indies by Bartholomew de las Casas. When Bartholomew de las Casas came to the Indies, came to Hispaniola, all the Puerto Rico, all the islands of Taino. He said that it's wrote in there that their first attempt was on the Spanish island, which has a most fertile soil and at present has a great reputation for its spaciousness and length, containing in perimeter 600 miles. It is surrounded by an innumerable number of islands, which we found well inhabited with natives and foreigners, that there isn't a region in the universe with so many people but the mainland, which is 250 miles north of the island. The amount of people inhabiting these countries make it seem as if the omnipotent God has assembled and concocted the major part of mankind in this part of the world. So it said Ephraim is a fruitful bow. And then it also says enemies hated him. And what did it say? Don't worry about it. It said, go up real quick. The archers have sorely grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. And when they came to the Americas, what they do? Fed them to the dogs. They killed them with the sword, the bow.
Raped and pillaged.
Fed them to the dogs. And that was said that it would happen to Ephraim in Hosea 13:8. Said, I will meet them as a bear that is bereaved of her whelps, and will rend the cow of their heart, and there will I devour them like a lion. The wild beast shall tear them. And that's what happened to Ephraim when the Spaniards came. Hosea 13:6, Samaria shall become desolate, for she hath rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. And that's what they did to the Taino Indians, which is your native Puerto Ricans, and other islands as well. The Tainos, they were all through the Caribbean.
Some of them got shipped out to the South Pacific. That's where you got Tahiti from. They came to Tahitians. But his bow was bold in strength, and the arms of his bands were made strong by the hands of the mighty power of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Even by Yahweh, the power of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessing of a deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. The blessing of the Father hath prevailed above the blessing of my progenitors, unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that shows that so-called Puerto Ricans, they're going to be a very, very fruitful people. You know what I mean? So it's going to make them blessed in the womb. Mm-hmm. Benjamin shall raven as the wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I ran out of time to add anything for Benjamin, but
Well, you know
But
about all
Benjamin
the slave
was,
rebellions and stuff.
yeah, they
Yeah,
were
I mean,
howling
and they
at
was
the moon, right?
yeah, and they was pirated, and people who came to the island of Jamaica and stuff like that. I forgot what it was called before it was called Jamaica. I used to know. But they used to come out there and they will pirate people who was trying to land on the island and spoil their goods and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Verse 28.
Verse 28. And all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them and blessed them, every one according to his blessing. He blessed them, and he charged them, and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Merimah, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people.
And we'll end out right there. Come on. I don't know what it's doing. But yeah, we're going to close out with that. This has been the Sabbath service for Hebrew Chosen Elect. Hope it was